instead of eliminating terrorism, they made unprovoked attack on Pakistan. So why Afghan Taliban are insensitive to what Pakistan says on security, on counter-terrorism?
Why Afghan Taliban have decided to attack Pakistan? Many people misunderstood their true strategic thinking and character. Afghan government has decided that it will prefer serving within the region as an Indian proxy rather than as a responsible nation. And Pakistan was forced in its in its exercise of the right of self-defense given under international law to retaliate and defend its sovereignty, territorial integrity by very carefully and accurately targeting only those bases from where these terrorist outfits are launching or organizing attacks against Pakistan. If Afghanistan does not have any terrorist organizations, then why in Doha 13 countries met under the leadership of United Nations? Why in Moscow, Pakistan was joined by all the regional countries, major countries like China, like Russia, like Iran, who were unanimous in reminding Afghanistan of its commitment towards international peace and security, that it must shun the support for terrorist organizations and criminal elements and smugglers.
What will be the future of Pakistan-Afghanistan relations?
I think Pakistan's position is very clear, and it is based on three messages which DGISPR made in his recent press conference in Peshawar. Number one, that either if you're not supporting or harboring or facilitating the terrorists, please hand them over. If you can't control them, join us in the fight against terrorism, because we both are on the same side. We want peace, progress, prosperity for everybody. And number three, if you are neither going to hand them over, nor join this fight for peace, security, and stability, then every individual and entity which is responsible directly for attacking or threatening Pakistan will be destroyed.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello and welcome to Program Inside in V News English. Dear viewers, on the night of 11th and 12th of October, Afghan Taliban forces made an unprovoked attack on Pakistan along with Pakistan-Afghanistan border. The purpose of this cowardly act by the Afghan Taliban was to destabilize Pakistan-Afghanistan border in order to further facilitate Fitna al-Khawarij nefarious designs and activities. However, armed forces of Pakistan, which were already on high alert, repulsed this attack. During intense exchange of fire, 23 brave soldiers of Pakistan Army embraced martyrdom. Another 29 got injuries. 21 multiple locations, including security posts, were captured by Pakistan Army. And in this particular operation and response given by Pakistan Army, the achievement that Pakistan Army made, that was destruction of major terror infrastructure inside Afghanistan, including training camps, including the other safe havens of terrorists which used to coordinate and facilitate terrorist activities inside in Pakistan. This is a major success, but at the same time, 23 great soldiers of Pakistan's armed forces they embraced martyrdom. Why this situation is evolving and what happened, why Afghan Taliban made this particular attack at a time when their top diplomat, acting Afghan foreign minister, was visiting India. We will also, in today's conversation, discuss the acting Afghan foreign minister, Amir Khan Muttaqi's visit to India, where he endorsed Indian narrative on Jammu and Kashmir and terrorism. That we will discuss later on, but first we will discuss this particular exchange of fire between Afghan Taliban and Pakistani armed forces. To discuss this all, we are fortunate to have with us Senior Strategic Affairs Analyst, Dr. Syed Muhammad Ali Sir. Dr. Syed Mohammed Ali Saab, very warm welcome to Program Insight in V News English.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, it's a pleasure to have you with us. I would like to seek your comment along with two important developments. Hardly a week before, in Moscow Format Conference, a joint communique was issued, in which, of course, Afghan acting foreign minister was also part of it. And he made a pledge, he made a commitment that Afghan territory will not be allowed to be used for terrorism against any country, particularly neighboring country, particularly Pakistan. And previously, last month, on 20th of August, China, Afghanistan, and Pakistani foreign ministers held meeting in Kabul, in which it was also agreed upon that Afghan Taliban will take all measures to eliminate terrorism. So, Dr. Saab, instead of eliminating terrorism, they made unprovoked attack on Pakistan. So why Afghan Taliban are insensitive to what Pakistan says on security, on counter-terrorism?
Mateen Saab, thank you so much for having me on your wonderful show on an important subject. I think there are three possible reasons why Afghan Taliban have decided to attack Pakistan. Number one is the ideological reason. Because many people misunderstood their true strategic thinking and character. And their reality has been exposed in the last 24 hours. Because all those people who considered Afghan Taliban as the good Taliban and TTP as the bad Taliban must have realized there is no difference between Afghan Taliban and TTP. And the second most important reality which has emerged in the last 24 hours is that instead of being part of Pakistani and Chinese lucrative geoeconomic projects like extending CPEC and bringing billions of dollars of investment in Afghanistan and connecting Pakistan with Central Asia through Pakistan, Afghanistan, Uzbekistan rail link, Afghan government has decided that it will prefer serving within the region as an Indian proxy rather than as a responsible nation which deserves regional and global international community support and encouragement to return towards normalcy and re-emerge as a normal state. But it seems the third fact which has emerged is that despite being in power for more than 4 years, instead of behaving as a responsible state, instead of meeting its international, diplomatic, and legal commitments, such as Doha Accord, of eliminating terrorism from their territory, for not allowing their territory to be used against any neighboring country, for forming an inclusive, broad-based government, for respecting human rights, all these obligations have been completely ignored by the Afghan government, and they are still behaving as a non-state actor. And it seems that they have decided that instead of participating in a peaceful development agenda of this region, they want to be part of an Indian agenda to destabilize this region, to become an agent of instability, to become a proxy of Indian design of hegemony and harming Pakistan through terrorist support. So it's a grave tragedy for the Afghan nation, which has suffered for over 45 years due to instability, infighting, and civil war. And they are being ruled by a militant organization, which instead of trying to solve their problems, is ignoring very positive and peaceful geoeconomic incentives from Pakistan and China and preferring to side with India and getting some dollars in return for providing space and support and facilitation for Indian proxy terrorist organizations. So Pakistan, was unfortunately, despite several high-level diplomatic engagements, through its intelligence, through its diplomatic and political leadership, visiting Kabul to assure Afghanistan that they can be recognized, they can emerge as a normal country, as a normal nation. But they have rejected all these overtures, and they have not taken any action against these terrorist organizations, which have been recognized, Mr. Mateen Saab, by the UN report, by the US National Intelligence Assessment, by the US Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. And it has proven that Pakistan's concerns are valid, and Pakistan was forced in its in its exercise of the right of self-defense given under international law to retaliate and defend its sovereignty, territorial integrity by very carefully and accurately targeting only those bases from where these terrorist outfits are launching or organizing attacks against Pakistan. So Pakistan must clarify that this is not a war between Pakistan and Afghanistan. This is not a war between Pakistan Armed Forces and Afghan nation. This is only a war in which Pakistan expects every peace-loving and responsible Afghan citizen to join hands with Pakistan against the common enemy of terrorism, which is keeping this region hostage to terrorism, instability, and crime.
Talks up on Friday, Chief Military Spokesperson, Director General of Inter-Services Public Relations, Lieutenant General Ahmed Sharif Chaudhry in Peshawar held a press conference in which he comprehensively spoke about Pakistan's counter-terrorism strategy, and he shared detail about the series of attacks carried out on Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. And he also made it clear that security of Pakistan, security of people of Pakistan would be ensured, and there will be no compromise on that. And in that connection, I would like to know from you, and viewers would be definitely waiting to listen. In today's action that Pakistan carried out, Pakistan gave a befitting response. And there were details shared by Inter-Services Public Relations that number of important terrorist infrastructures were destroyed. Please share some of those details. And evidences have been on all television screens. So there was no doubt in Pakistan's narrative, in Pakistan's stance, that there have been terrorist infrastructure on the soil of Afghanistan, but Afghan Taliban have been denying. So please share the details of that terrorist sanctuaries infrastructure which has been destroyed in last night's operation.
Mr. Mateen, first let me share with you the claims and the stance made by the Afghan government and its interim foreign minister during his visit to Delhi. There are two very key points which must be shared. Mr. Muttaqi claimed that there are no terrorist organizations in Afghanistan, number one. And number two, he said that the problems that Pakistan is currently facing from terrorism are Pakistan's internal problems, and Afghanistan has nothing to do with these. So let me respond to these two claims by the Afghan interim foreign minister. First, his claim that there are no terrorist organizations in Afghan territory. So there are three evidences of that. Number one, the independent report by the United Nations itself mentions that Afghanistan has again become the epicenter of not just regional, not just national, but global terrorist organizations like Daesh and ISKP and also Al-Qaeda. Secondly, the first official document released by the Trump administration, the official annual National Intelligence Threat Assessment. It clearly mentions on page 7 that Pakistan is a victim of terrorist organizations operating from Afghanistan. And it also warns even US government. It is a report based on the intelligence input of 26 intelligence organizations of the US. that TTP is enjoying active support and cooperation from both Daesh and Al-Qaeda within Afghanistan. And the US government described Afghanistan that it has again become an epicenter of global terrorism. And it criticized the manner in which Biden administration hurriedly left Afghanistan and left billions of dollars worth of high-tech US weapons in Afghanistan, which are currently being used in attacks against Pakistan. And the US administration currently describes this policy of leaving Afghanistan hurriedly and also with so much arms of US origin as a grave strategic blunder. And it is considered such a grave strategic blunder that the US Secretary of Defense has ordered a high-level inquiry within Pentagon to identify those individuals who are responsible for such ill-planned exodus. So that is the independent perspective on it. Number three, that if Afghanistan does not have any terrorist organizations, then why in Doha 13 countries met under the leadership of United Nations? Why in Moscow, Pakistan was joined by all the regional countries, major countries like China, like Russia, like Iran, who were unanimous in reminding Afghanistan of its commitment towards international peace and security, that it must shun the support for terrorist organizations and criminal elements and smugglers, particularly the drug smugglers. Number four, that if there are no terrorist organizations, why after the return of Afghan Taliban to power in Kabul, there had been almost hundreds of attacks being launched from Afghan soil against Pakistan? And why attacks? You know very well, mostly Afghan individuals are caught and found, including hundreds of suicide bombers who are of Afghan origin. And lastly, if there are no supports from Afghanistan for terrorist organizations, why doesn't the Afghan government hand over these terrorists to Pakistan? And lastly, last night, when hundreds of these terrorists tried to cross into Pakistan and infiltrate the 2,640 kilometer long Pak-Afghan border, why were the Afghan Taliban forces providing them fire support to facilitate and enable them to penetrate the border? And last but not the least, if Pakistan has taken any action in exercise of its international legal right of self-defense against these TTP bases and individuals, and if Afghan government has nothing to do with them, why is Afghan government so angry? Why is Afghan government retaliating on their behalf? That is an ultimate evidence that there is no difference between TTP and Afghan government when it comes to their ill motives against Pakistan. So, and lastly, why the Indian embassy staff hurriedly left Afghanistan when they came to power, but now they are opening their embassy.
Exactly.
And Afghan government attacks Pakistan only when their foreign minister is on an India visit. So all these facts provide compelling evidence about the reality which many people around the world and in Pakistan have ignored. Number one, there is no difference between TTP and Afghan Taliban. Number two, now Afghan government has become and decided to become a proxy of India to destabilize this region and particularly promote terrorism against Pakistan. And that should be Pakistan's clear, unambiguous stance and narrative before the international community.
Talks of there is a common perception among definitely Pakistanis and everyone that Pakistan extended moral, political, diplomatic support to Afghan Taliban. They facilitated Afghan Taliban at every stage, including the Doha dialogue that you referred. And whenever there have been any difficulty in Afghanistan, including floods, including earthquake, including any difficulty, so Pakistan has been on the forefront of extending humanitarian assistance to Afghanistan. There is a great hospital that is in the heart of Kabul, Jinnah Institute of Medical Sciences, that has been built with Pakistan assistance. Hundreds and thousands of Afghan students have been given scholarships in Pakistan. But ultimately, what went wrong with Afghan Taliban? They're so unthankful to Pakistan that Pakistan had been supporting them. Pakistan reconnected Afghan Taliban to the Americans, to all regional powers, and ultimately Pakistan has to witness this great, very distress moment and extremely irresponsible attitude from Afghan Taliban. What went wrong?
I think there are four reasons, Mr. Mateen. Number one, I think Pakistan made a grave blunder by overextending its magnanimity and hospitality for the Afghan nation. And this goodwill and trust enabled lots of criminal and terrorist elements to penetrate within Pakistan at the cost of Pakistan's national security.
True.
So I think it was a mistake that Pakistan should have helped Afghans, but not allowed them to integrate themselves economically, socially, and culturally within our social fabric. And that is something which Iran did very responsibly. Iran also helped them. But they threw out almost 1 million Afghans last month. Exactly. And there is no political party in Iran protesting about it. Secondly, they are seeking visas and settlement around the world, in the US, Canada, Germany, Britain, and so many other countries. But they are very patiently waiting for the lawful process to complete. But in case of Pakistan, they are trying to browbeat and threat Pakistan. Mm-hmm. Secondly, I think while Pakistan has helped Afghans more than any other nation in all possible ways, and you also mentioned that Pakistan still provides over thousands of scholarship to Afghan students. Pakistan provides seats for their doctors, engineers, lawyers, diplomats. I've been teaching Afghan diplomats in Foreign Service Academy. So we have been training their police officers, their diplomats, their international relations scholars, their doctors, their engineers. Why? Because we want them to go back and rebuild their nation as a responsible, self-respecting nation. Thirdly, your program and our channel carried this news that and talented Afghan cricket team, all its players learned cricket in Peshawar, in the cricket academies of Peshawar. Now Rashid, who's the captain of Afghan cricket team, he himself said in an exclusive interview with V News English that he's one of the highest paid international cricket stars. He makes $1 million a month. Mm-hmm. And he learned cricket in Peshawar. And he's grateful to Pakistan for learning and making him into a world star. So there are so many examples of Pakistan's contribution towards them. But still, they have been very ungrateful. And not just ungrateful, to see that their foreign minister visits Delhi and the same night their forces attack Pakistan and launch unprovoked aggression in support of terrorist organizations. What does this mean? This means that they take Pakistan for granted. And this forced Pakistan as was evident from the last cabinet meeting of the federal cabinet, from the last Corps Commander conference, and also from the recent DGISPR's press briefing in Peshawar,
exactly,
that enough is enough. We will no longer be a soft state. We will no longer be harmed on the false pretext of neighborhood and Islamic brotherhood. And last but not the least, the most important realization which thankfully has dawned upon our political and military leadership is this, Mateen Saab, that in Pakistan's entire 78 years history, Pakistan has fought very intense and bloody wars with India since 1948. But in all these wars put together, Pakistan has not suffered. Pakistan has not lost so many lives as Pakistan has suffered at the hands of the Afghans on the pretext of Islam and brotherhood. So it is very important for Pakistanis to realize, it's an important message for our political leadership of KPK government, that whoever wants to is living in the fool's paradise, that they can seek peace through peaceful talks with terrorists. They should realize the reality that these Afghan Taliban are actively supporting TTP to attack Pakistan, and you are talking about peace talks with these terrorists. What do you want? You want their brand of Islam in Pakistan? Do you want to return FATA, these districts as FATA? Do you want to give up the Pakistani constitution? Do you want to give up women's rights? Do you want to give up human rights? What is it that you want to offer? So there is no common ground between terrorists and the most responsible nuclear power within the Muslim world. There is no common ground. So let it be known to Afghan Taliban, to India, that these proxy wars, these terrorist incidents will not break the unity, the integrity, the solidarity, and firm commitment of Pakistan and its armed forces to defend every inch of its soil. And every life is sacred. And whichever attack or activity takes place against Pakistan will be thwarted, will be retaliated, and every base and post which is used against Pakistan will be destroyed. This is a new normal from Pakistan against Afghanistan. The new normal of Pakistan will be that every action of every terrorist from Afghan soil will be retaliated timely and effectively by directly destroying that base or post from which that terrorist was equipped, armed, trained, and launched. That must be known and understood by Kabul as well as New Delhi.
Dr. Saab, you referred to KP province and PTI government over there, and about this PTI government and its response to counter-terrorism operations in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa was highlighted by Director General Inter-Services Public Relations, DGISPR, put the facts before nation that what is the capacity of counter-terrorism department of KP when it comes to the terrorist attacks that are carried out on the settled districts. That is the job of CTD. If there is any issue at the border, of course, it's the responsibility of armed forces of Pakistan. So I would like to seek your comment. Over last 3 terms, PTI has been in power in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, but we haven't seen any capacity building of their police, their counter-terrorism department. Why it has been so that the entire province is witnessing this situation?
It's very unfortunate. I think that some public representatives from KPK were under the misperception that based on their ethnic affinity, they can influence and persuade Taliban into giving up arms. But I think the last 24 hours long events must have made the reality clear before them that this is not a realistic possibility. No sense of identity, pride, legal or moral obligation, the supreme way of life of Islam can bound them to behave responsibly, legally, morally. And they have violated every human, religious, cultural, diplomatic obligation and norm. And they have failed to protect their own citizens' lives, liberty, and honor from these terrorists. It is tragic that over 20 million Afghans are suffering because of the mismanagement, the bad governance, and misdirected policies of Kabul administration. That instead of using their limited time and resources for the welfare of their people, for reducing their challenges, making their life better, they are wasting their time, their resources, their territory, their legitimacy to work and serve as a proxy for the Indian agenda of promoting terrorism as an instrument of policy within the region. So that is something which is harmful for their own nation. And I have a call to make before every peace-loving and responsible Afghan brother and sister that they should ask and demand from their own government that they should give up the support of terrorists and act responsibly and cooperate with Pakistan, China, Iran, Russia, and other peace-loving countries so that the Afghan people also benefit from the opportunities like extending CPEC, like establishing a trade link between Central Asia and Pakistan, so that their lives become easier. They have some hope and opportunity to improve their life, to lead prosperous, self-respecting, safe lives. That is something which I think every peace-loving Afghan must demand from their own government, and is their right. And therefore, you will find every Pakistani helpful, respectful towards Afghan people. But those individuals who are responsible for threatening Pakistan, for attacking Pakistan, for destabilizing Pakistan, for promoting terrorism and crime within Pakistan, I think they will no longer be tolerated. And that is the new normal that must be clearly made before both peaceful and those elements who have any ill will against Pakistan. That those who have peaceful intentions towards Pakistan have nothing to fear. They are our brothers. Exactly. But those who have any ill will against us will not be tolerated, and every aggressive action will be retaliated and with a befitting response.
After this befitting response that you referred, although we are running short of time, and I would like to have your crisp, short, and to the point answer. What will be the future of Pakistan-Afghanistan relations in the backdrop of this clash at a time when DGISPR has made it clear there will be no talks with the terrorists? But however, do you think still there is window of communication between Pakistan and Afghanistan despite this incursion by Afghan Taliban?
I think Pakistan's position is very clear, and it is based on three messages which DGISPR made in his recent press conference in Peshawar. Number one, that either if you're not supporting or harboring or facilitating the terrorists, please hand them over so that they face a legal process. Secondly, if you cannot, you're not going to hand them over, then join us. If you can't control them, join us in the fight against terrorism, because we both are on the same side. We want peace, progress, prosperity for everybody. And number three, if you are neither going to hand them over, nor join this fight for peace, security, and stability, then every individual and entity which is responsible directly for attacking or threatening Pakistan will be destroyed.
Thank you so much indeed, Dr. Syed Mohammad Ali Saab, for sparing time despite your very, very busy schedule and speaking on this extraordinary situation on Pakistan-Afghanistan border. Alhamdulillah, Pakistan repels this particular attack. And all the while repulsing this attack, during intense exchange of fire, 23 brave soldiers of Pakistan Army embraced martyrdom. And we pray to Allah Almighty, may Allah Almighty rest their soul in eternal peace and give strength to their bereaved families. And may Allah Almighty also give strength to Pakistan. And thank you so much once again. And dear viewers, till our next program, goodbye and Khuda Hafiz.
Thank you for having me.